Hey there, welcome to Rise and Receive. This is a reset point in your day where you get to stop whatever you're doing and take a moment to explore how to receive your fulfillment by unlearning struggle. So today we're continuing with the current series on activating ease, speed, and beyond your upper limits when it comes to receiving your goals, your dreams, the things that you're pursuing in your life, the things that you most want. And so today's topic is how to dissolve your glass ceiling, specifically the simple thing most people aren't willing to do. So if you find that you've been working really hard and you feel like you're hitting an upper limit or a glass ceiling, on the road to your goals and dreams and manifesting what you most want in life, then I invite you to sit back and really receive today's message, because I think you're going to like what we're going to unpack today. So if you don't know me, my name is Sonia Miller. I'm a speaker, coach, and best-selling author. And I show hardworking, goal-oriented people the blind spots that keep them from receiving their long overdue rewards. And I do this by teaching the very useful, productive, and results-producing skill set known as receiving. I teach people how to receive because as a life coach now for more than 25 years, I have seen a common thread among all of the people that I work with. And that is that most of us know how to work hard, or we certainly put a lot of energy into our goals and dreams. We think a lot, we research, we pursue, we hunt. That's a really familiar skill set. But when it comes to flipping the switch from doing and pursuing to being and receiving, that's a less familiar skill set. And so what happens is when we don't receive our goals, what do? We work even harder because we don't know what the alternative is. But there is this entire other skill set that not only is incredibly powerful and helps you to activate ease, speed, and beyond your upper limits, but it's actually incredibly simple and really easy. It's unfamiliar, but it's super easy. Why? Because it's about the being skill set, and you are a human being. If you're watching this, it's the most natural thing in the world, but we have really disconnected with how being actually can produce concrete results. And that's what I'm really passionate about illuminating. So as I mentioned, I show people blind spots, and today's blind spot is what I call the fix-it blind spot. And when you understand how this blind spot shows up in your life and we illuminate it, then you can have a shift in perspective, a shift in your point of view, which then allows a shift in your consciousness. And your consciousness is what creates your reality. When you know how to navigate the terrain of your inner world, your consciousness being your thoughts, feelings, emotions, conscious and unconscious, it really is a terrain, and when you understand it and can navigate it, you can open the floodgates to those places that you have felt sluggish, slow, stopped up around manifesting your dreams. So let's talk about the fix-it blind spot. So when you're in doing mode, when you're operating more as a human doing versus a human being, you operate much like the hunter. So the hunter relies on knowledge that we know in the mind, a lot of activity, a lot of information gathering, and there's a target on the horizon. That's usually your goal that you've got your sights on, and you use your 5 physical senses and you really navigate the physical realm. Okay. So with the hunter model, there's a lot of problem solving. So if there's something that's not going right, if you're not catching your prize, your goal, you're going to get into fix-it mode. You're going to get into your head. Now, you know that this blind spot might be hindering you because you're really caught up in fix-it mode. You're like, what's the problem? What's the problem? When it comes to upper limits, we're either trying to solve the problem of the upper limit itself, or we're still focusing on solving the problem of manifesting that goal. So if you are in massive problem solving mode or really trying to fix something, fix it, what's the solution? What's the solution? And you're kind of stuck there and you don't know how to get out of it, the fix-it blind spot might be the thing that's sabotaging your efforts. So this points to what's the key thing, the simple thing that most people aren't willing to do? Well, the opposite of fixing is feeling. And most people, especially those who have learned to over-rely on the doing model of power, are not willing to feel. It sounds kind of crazy, but it's true. And there's a couple reasons that A, we're not willing to do it, and B, once we become willing to do it, it opens the floodgates to the very thing that needs to happen for you to surpass your upper limit. So what I want you to do is talk about the main reasons, like kind of the main ideas about why we're not willing to feel. And it's based on what we've learned about feelings and feeling in general, and what we never learned about feeling and feelings. Okay, so let's talk about what we learned about feeling and feelings, especially when we've been operating more as a human doing than a human being. What we've learned mostly around feelings is a lot of judgment and oftentimes shame. Okay, when you've learned to really get your sense of value and worth, and you've come to believe that you can receive what you want when you do something, when you exchange something, when you achieve something, which is what I call transactional receiving, you will only receive through hard work or through something that you supply. In other words, if I provide this, that's the hunter, the provider, then I will receive what I want, which is the goal or the target. That's great if you're pursuing tasks. If that's what you're trying to achieve, that's a really good model of power, is the doing. But when you have dreams, which has a whole bunch of stuff that's beyond your control that you can't know and you can't conquer physically, then what? Well, that's when we need to move into the being and the feeling. Okay, so we've learned to judge things. And when you're operating as a human doing, we oftentimes get the messages, and see if any of these ring true for you. Okay, you can't feel things when you're working because that's unprofessional. A lot of males in our culture get the message of big boys don't cry. There's even a movie with Tom Hanks. I can't remember the title of it, but it was back in the 1950s, I think it was, when there were women's baseball teams, and he said, "There's no crying in baseball." Right? So we got all kinds of messages about it. And on top of that, because we've gotten judged or maybe even shamed for our feelings, we've really gotten the message that, don't feel, don't go there, it's bad. And then it becomes scary and messy, and it's just not good. And so there's that whole, what we learned about feeling our feelings. So on top of that, besides the fact that there's all this negativity, there's really not a lot of illumination about how feeling your feelings is powerful and how it's useful and how it actually helps you achieve results. So what happens is that we're missing that perspective. So let's talk about what you didn't learn about feelings. So when it comes to feeling your feelings, because a lot of judgment and shame was involved for many of us, we actually don't know how to feel safe when our feelings do arise. So we find all of these ways of running away from it or squashing it or putting it down. So we don't know how to feel safe, all right? We tend to feel really out of control. So we're going to avoid it, stuff it, just at all costs, just avoid feeling our feelings, right? But what happens is when you feel your feelings, the reason it's so powerful is it allows you to basically access and open up kind of like a portal to an intelligence that's beyond your mind. Okay, it's something that just shows up. So when you're in hunter mode, when you're looking for an answer, you research and figure out and hunt an answer. That's how you manifest things. You hunt them and then you manifest them. But when you are actually in receiving of the feelings, answers, clarity, and intelligence simply is revealed. That's what happens when you tap into the power of feeling. You access a portal, an opening to this higher intelligence that is already within you. You may have heard the saying, it's all of the answers are within. This is how you start to open to the answers that already lie within. The wisdom, the intelligence that's within is when you know how to harness the power of your feelings and your emotions. And so this isn't just emotions that we name. This is also sensations in your body, okay? So that's a piece that we didn't learn. The other thing that we didn't learn is how our feelings allow us to be creative in terms of creating your reality, manifesting your goals and dreams. And so one of the things, a simple thing that most people aren't willing to do, is to set aside a little bit of time every day to what actually Neville, who's a metaphysician from the 1900s, used to say, is to feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you feel what it would feel like to actually have what you want right now, then you activate having right now in consciousness. Your consciousness creates your reality. I always say that if you want to manifest something in the physical world, you have to experience it in your physical body. You must be willing to feel. So it's the simplest, most powerful thing to do that allows you to go beyond your upper limit. Most people aren't willing to do that because we've been trained to value the power of the mind, not so much the power of the body, the power of thinking over the power of feeling. And feeling is where you supercharge and accelerate, you magnetize and open up to receiving that thing that you've wanted so much. It brings it into the right here, right now, instead of when, then, someday. So that is my offering to you, is to become willing to feel the feelings of the wish fulfilled. So you might be saying, well, that's a nice idea. I kind of get it, Sonia. How do I do that? This is the best thing to do. Have fun with daydreaming. All right. People think that daydreaming, it can have a really bad rap, but it's an incredible thing. If you give yourself permission to daydream about the thing that you want and you do it intentionally, and you actually let yourself go there, and I always say activate the power of pretending. Imagine that somebody waved a magic wand and you're living that life right now. You can do it when you're driving the car. You can do it when you're laying in bed. If you're just resting on the couch, let yourself daydream and imagine that right here, right now, you are in your desired reality, and feel it and pretend it. That is feeling the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and watch what that brings in. Just play with it. You have nothing to lose. So with that, I'm going to send you off on your way with today's card, which was the inspiration for today's Rise and Receive. This is, here we go, Feel Sensations from the Receive Oracle card deck. And so what we do is we activate the power of invitation, which is what human beings are able to do when you access that skill set, instead of intention, which is what we do when we're in human doing mode. And here's your opportunity. If you are stuck in fix-it mode, if you are trying to problem solve your way out of an upper limit, just notice, stop the fixing. Just stop, take a breath, and then shift to invitation. I am willing to feel the feeling of my wish fulfilled. I am willing to feel the feeling of my wish fulfilled. Say it to yourself, say it out loud, practice it as much as you like, and it can only do good. Watch what happens. So if this was helpful, please please share. It helps me reach the people that I'm here to serve. Click on the red subscribe button if you're on YouTube. I'll let you know every time I release a new video. And if you'd like to tap into the power of receiving right away, go to receiveCardDeck.com. Order your own Receive Oracle cards. You can get them off of Amazon. They're shipping now directly. And come back for more Rise and Receives. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye-bye.